Hello and welcome to Blender Bite Size. In this video I'll be showing you how to make this material procedurally in Blender. Feeling lazy? You can support this channel and skip the hard work by grabbing the blend file for this material from Gumroad for just £1. Feeling flush? Feel free to throw some of that coin my way using the coffee link in the description below the video. Okay, let's make a start with our spawn sack. So we have loaded an object. We are in the shading tab, going to enable viewport shading, and I've got a principled shader already applied to the object. Couple of changes within that principled shader. We're going to do subsurface index of refraction at 0.999 and the same, in fact no, just slightly less for the main index of refraction at 0.970. The specular we're going to increase to 1. The roughness we're going to decrease to 0.1. Sheen tint to 0.5. And there's a couple of other things we're going to look at and change, but they're going to be controlled by nodes. So let's make a start on those. First up, let's press Shift A and grab a noise texture. We're going to plug that into the normal, but because it's not connecting like for like, we need a converter. So we're going to grab a bump node and shove that in between, and then move that up to height. So you can see all sorts of weird stuff going on here. We are going to press Ctrl T to add a mapping and texture node to that. That would obviously only work if you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, so if it isn't already, enable that in your preferences. We need to make sure we're using the object output from the texture coordinate. On the noise texture, we're going to change the scale to 3, detail to 1, roughness to 0.25. And on the bump, we're going to change the strength to 0.1 and the distance to 10. Now, can't really see much going on here at the moment because we need to do a couple of other things. First is we're going to grab a Voronoi texture, and we need to take the vector from the mapping node into the vector of the Voronoi texture. We're going to take the distance from there and plug that into the sheen, and we're going to get a color ramp. Plug the distance from that into the color ramp. And on the Voronoi texture scale, we're going to change the feature output to smooth F1. So let's see what that looks like. We'll change the smoothness to 0.05. So you can see it kind of adds this sort of almost like cell structure in between. And then if we preview that with the color ramp, what we need here is HSL for the color mode and near for the color interpolation. And we're going to need a total of 4 colors. We're going to need to work from lightest to darkest. So value all the way up to 1. And we are going to actually change the alpha on some of these as well. So let's say 0.8 for now. Now we're going to grab us some color. Ew. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's say 0.9. Again, drop the alpha to 0.8. 0.9, 0.25. Now that's the same colour, so I need to change it to a darker tone of that. So let's say 0.1. And then the final colour will be our 0 value. But we also need to change the alpha on that, so 0.8. And then we will plug this into the base colour and take a look at the main shaders. You can see there things are already happening. Now we need to use this for a bit of displacement as well, so we will grab a displacement node, plug that into the material output, and take the colour from the colour ramp into the height. Now it's gone a bit weird because we need to change some settings. Middle level is going to 0.4 and scale 0.01. And you can see these sort of white things poking out of the surface a bit. So we can increase or decrease that by moving our colour sliders around. Interesting. There, I reckon. Ew, looks hideous, doesn't it? What we're also going to do is take the alpha from here and plug it into the alpha of this main shader. And I think that's us just about done. So let's take a look at that. Now it's looking good, but I think what I'm going to do is put the alpha back up on the black colour, and on these other two maybe increase their saturation a bit. Okay, let's send that to render and see how we get on. Now I'm using the Cycles render engine with 1000 samples. I have got denoising enabled, and because we're dealing with some transparencies, I am going to actually, am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to let's try one alternate change. Let's increase the transmission on the main shader to 0.65. You can see that kind of had an impact, but probably a bit too much. So let's go for 0.35. And a transmission roughness of 0.275. I like rounding things off. Let's increase the total number of light path bounces. 18 as a total. And let's say 12 for everything other than volume. Right, let's send that to render and see what we get. Okay, and there we have our gross looking spawn sack. I hope you found this video useful and will use it somehow. Of course, if you've enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. In the meantime, thanks for watching.